Good morning, everyone. Hello. Good morning, everyone. We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming, via YouTube streaming, and via Skype. Each one of you is welcome to this live broadcast. How to find a Buddha. This is based on the sutras of Zen Master Iku. Buddha, what is Buddha? Am I talking about a Buddha that was born in the history to a particular parents, or the Buddha that is existential, that was never born, never died? The Buddha that is your inner essential nature. Buddha indeed is inner essential nature. Iku says two things: sincerity and mercy are essential qualities of a Buddha. An awakened one must be sincere, and he have mercy, that is the outcome of compassion. His compassion will give you the idea of his love, his overflowing love, for no reasons at all. If you can find a man of love, remember those words. One glimpse, a single glimpse of a real man, and you are in love. Indeed, love blossoms in you. One glimpse, a single glimpse of the real man, and you are in love. Indeed, love blossoms in you. Then you are embodiment of love. If you can find a man of love, then do not miss the opportunity. Remember, he is the door. Enter into him, and you will find sincerity. I repeat it again so that you can remember that. One glimpse of the real man, and you are in love. Indeed, love blossoms in you. Then you are embodiment of love. If you can find a man of love, then don't miss the opportunity. He is the door. Enter into him, and you will find sincerity. Remember, sincerity does not mean seriousness. It means authenticity. A Buddha, the awakened one, is authentic. Buddha is authentic. Why do you have to find Buddha? Buddha is your nature. If you have not discovered your nature, you have not known as yet. As such as you are, you have not known your nature, and you continue to live otherwise. And how would you judge whether the man is authentic, truthful or not? There is only one thing to remember. Truth is solitary. Indeed, truth is paradoxical. Only consistency that you can find is untruth. If you find a man very consistent, avoid him, because that means he's simply philosophizing. Truth is not consistent. He has not yet experienced anything. Certainly, he is not a sincere man. A sincere man is one who simply says whatsoever is the case, whether it contradicts him, whether it is consistent or inconsistent, that does not matter. It makes no difference to him. A sincere man is one who says things, whatsoever is the case, whether it contradicts him, it does not matter. Whether it is consistent or inconsistent, that too does not matter. Remember Zen definition of truth. A truth is that whose contradictions are also true, whose consistencies are also true. So a man of sincerity is bound to be paradoxical. The truth is, I am hungry. You heard it. You went to get something. Went to get something, and by the time you return, I have eaten already. Then you say that I brought the food for you. But would I say I am not hungry? This is inconsistent, but it is true. I was hungry, but I am not hungry now. This is an expression of truth. Truth is that whose contradiction is also true. So a man of sincerity is bound to be paradoxical, and that is where we go on missing. You want consistency in statements, and consistency in statements is not possible for an awakened one. He lives in the moment, he speaks in a moment, he speaks out of the moment. Whatsoever is the case, he speaks that. So a man of sincerity is bound to be paradoxical, and that is where we miss. If you come across paradoxes, you think this man is inconsistent. This man is inconsistent. And inconsistency is the way of existence. And if you find a man inconsistent, you will say, how can this man be true? Because he is inconsistent. But truth is always inconsistent. You are hungry now, but the next moment when you have eaten, you are no more hungry. Both are true. But they are true in a particular situation, not something which is consistent that stays beyond time and space. If I say in the morning, I am hungry, that does not mean I will remain hungry throughout the day. I am hungry in a particular moment. Then what you do? You try to satiate your hunger, and the moment hunger is satiated, you are no more hungry. So I am hungry is true. I am not hungry is also true, and it is inconsistent. Inconsistency is the way of the awakened one. You have an idea that truth has to be consistent. You have been conditioned into it by the society, by the religions, and everything else surrounding you. Indeed, it is your idea of consistency that prevents you from finding the Buddha. You are seeking consistency and you will go on missing a Buddha because he is inconsistent in his statements. That will prevent you from finding Buddhas, and you fall into trap of logicians, philosophers, and thinkers. They may be consistent, but they are not. A Buddha is basically, fundamentally, tactically paradox, because he sees truth in its totality. When I say I'm hungry, it is the totality. Because he sees truth in its totality, and the totality is always paradoxical. The totality is both night and day. This is total. Love and meditation. Truth always encompasses contradictions within its womb, within its periphery. Truth encompasses contradictions within its womb. The totality is both this and that, visible and invisible. Totality is both birth and death, and neither. Totality means the whole thing is so complex that you cannot make any consistent statement about it. You have to go on contradicting yourself. You say it is 9:30. By the time you have uttered, it is no more 9:30. Because life continues to move. So too, the wheel of life goes on moving. So how can there be consistency? If you find a man of contradictions, you may be close to someone who knows. Remember this, if you find a man of contradictions, you are very close to someone who knows. Truth is that whose contradictions too is true. Look for this sincerity through the paradox. Sincerity through the paradox. He is so sincere that he is ready to become inconsistent. He is so sincere, a Buddha is so sincere that he is ready to become inconsistent. His sincerity is such that he is ready to be called mad. It does not matter to him if people call him mad. His sincerity is such that he does not try to convince you through logic. No Buddha tries to convince you through logic. He is not a salesman. He is not worried about convincing you. He simply states whatsoever the case is. Whatsoever the case is. Whether you are convinced or not convinced, it doesn't matter. And that is up to you whether you are convinced or not convinced. It does not matter to him the least. He is not in any way interested in forcing anything upon you. He is ready to help, and he does help. He is ready to help but not to coerce you in any way, and this is his compassion. His compassion, he is not there to impose anything on you, to force anything on you, or coerce in any matter, in any way. And that compassion is his mercy. It does not mean pity. Mercy does not mean pity. Never consider it so. Buddha does not pity you because pity arises out of ego. They are merciful and compassionate. The difference between mercy and compassion is great. Just the other day, someone asked me a question about the stringent meditation techniques. And not only that, he mentioned the incident that I mentioned some days ago about one of the disciples. One mid-morning, she phoned to tell me that she is going to commit suicide. One of the seekers. One mid-morning, she phoned me to tell me that she is going to commit suicide. The master, the disciple master, I am going to commit suicide. They told her that is very good. Indeed, a wonderful idea. Put down the phone and rush to commit suicide before you change your mind. That is good. Indeed, wonderful idea. He told her, put down the phone and rush to commit suicide before you change your mind. The disciple, startled. A startled girl began to stammer. Yes, I am really going to commit suicide, and you? Stammering, not the words coming out. I told her, you have made the right decision to commit suicide. Have you decided how are you going to commit suicide? By jumping from the cliff, drowning in the ocean, taking an overdose of sleeping pills? And let me tell you, the best and sure way to commit suicide. Don't worry, I know the best way. And I am coming to help you to commit suicide. And I am ready, and I am totally in your decision with you. You have made a conscious decision, conscious choice. Anything that is done consciously will certainly take you beyond. Listening to this story, I thought you were very cruel. You did not persuade someone who heard it. Said that I thought you were very cruel. You did not pursue the girl not to commit suicide. On the contrary, you were telling her ways to commit suicide and ready to take her to the sea to jump or to the cliff to jump and die. What kind of compassion is this? You missed the whole story. She was saved. You missed that point. It is not how she was saved. The point is that she was saved. Look at the result. Hearing me, the girl burst into laughter. And she laughed for a few minutes. Then she cried. Still she is alive, but transformed. A compassionate man, a Buddha, looks at the result. What devices he uses are no more important or not important at all. He is ready to use any device. Just look at the objective result. A compassionate man is not at all sentimental or emotional at all. You would have liked me to hug her and persuade her not to commit suicide and deliver a priestly lecture against suicide, but then she would have committed suicide. Would it have been compassion? I would have driven her to suicide. That is what her parents, mother, father, and friends were doing. They were driving her to commit suicide. The more they were trying to persuade her, the more she was trying to say, no, I am going to commit suicide. In fact, she was getting more and more excited about suicide. Because of those people and their attention, and they were all loving people. They loved the person. Now see the difference in two approaches and decide which shows compassion. These are the two kinds of love. One is sentimental and emotional. Such love does not help. Another is objective love. And certainly the objective love helps. But then the person who is full of objective love decides how to move in a particular situation. He knows how to move in a particular situation. His sole concern is how to save people. I wanted to save this girl, and that is why I was so cruel. And I want you also to be saved. That's why all the meditation techniques that you are asked to go through are cruel. Sometimes even people ask, who should be more knowing? Misunderstood. Generally, you do not know anything about objective compassion. A new term is introduced, objective compassion. Listening to the incident, you may be shaken. And you may not be even courageous to say it to me. So I had to explore out of him. In the beginning, he was reluctant to say anything. He misunderstood the whole point. But that is what happens to the knowledgeable people. They go on missing the point. Because people think they know and they judge Buddhas from the past. He does not know anything about Buddhas. Their inconsistency is their consistency. Buddhas use many things as devices. All such devices are to destroy something in you, are to shake you into awakening. The whole point is to shake you out of your deep slumber. The whole effort is to shake you out of your deep slumber. Out of your deep slumber. And all kinds of things can be used. If sometimes a dagger needs to be put into your heart, it is you. Sufis use these kind of, and Zen use these kind of techniques. Such is the compassion of the Zen masters. The master throws the disciple from the height and the disciple attains to enlightenment. All such devices are used to change the gestalt and the energy field of the aspirant. Do you remember Jesus saying, I have come into the world not to bring peace, but to bring a sword? What does it mean? A man of compassion? Only something like a sword can shake you out of your sleep. Sword means something which is harsh. So when you come across a man of mercy, remember his whole point is how to awaken you. He is not sentimental. He will not cry with you. He will be very objective and very scientific. He is like a physician, like a surgeon who is very objective. His interest is to cure you out of this particular ailment. He will be very objective and very scientific, but feels for you. He loves you. He wants to help you. And only He can help you. All those sentimental people and their sentimental nonsense. Remember, sentimental nonsense is not going to help you. If it was going to help, you would have already been saved. You would have already been transformed. So whenever you can find a man of sincerity, a man of paradox, truth, whose whole concern is truth, expression of truth, even if it makes him look contradictory, he is ready. He is ready. He does not change the truth just to become consistent. And his whole concern is to help people become alert and awake. Alert and awake, even if sometimes cruel methods are needed, harsh methods are needed, he is ready to use them. And that is the man of compassion and sincerity. That is Buddha. And only a man of compassion and sincerity can be a master. Avoid those who console you. Follow them who are ready to destroy you. Because only when you are destroyed, God is born in you. Follow those who are ready to destroy you. Because only when you are destroyed, remember, God is born in you, not before that. Only a man of compassion and sincerity can be a master. These are the two important qualities, as Iku says, qualities of an awakened one, qualities of a Buddha. Avoid those who try to console you. Follow those who are ready to destroy you. Because only when you are destroyed, God is born in you. You are saved. Only this much for this morning. Until tomorrow. Take care and do have a pleasant day.